Welcome to the show that started it all. From the front office to the sidelines and everything happening in between, you are locked into the home of unfiltered opinions and the stories that define the game. Whether it's breaking news, heated debates, or the pulse of the sports world, this is where the bench clears, the noise stops, and the real conversation begins. Welcome to Empty the Bench, only on the Empty the Bench Network. And now, here's Nick Morgasen and Zain Bando.
All right, we are back. Episode, what are we, 325? 24. I'm losing track of episode numbers. We've done so many episodes of this show, I lose track. Make sure you follow us on social media at ETB Sports, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at ETB Sports. Follow the Empty the Bench Network at ETB Network, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you follow our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network, where you can see this show, his show, Bando's Breakdowns, or every show that we are doing across this network. 17 shows and counting we are doing across this large network. So please make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check out everything that we are doing across this network. We are at 1,130 subscribers right now as we speak. So please go help the cause for what we are doing. By the way, this is going to be an incredible show. It's going to be a jammed-packed show because the NBA free agency period has officially started. Now, we've seen the numbers come out, but this is the official signing day, 6 p.m. Eastern, a little bit after the time we go off air. Is when all the official signees can take place for the NBA. We have two big ones that we are going to discuss. One big news that happening with LeBron James, which is not 100% a shocker, and it shouldn't be a shocker to most people. And another one involving Kawhi Leonard, which we're going to get into, leaving the Clippers. Huge trade on the horizon. We are going to get into that. Also, what just ended right now on ESPN, Serena Williams just lost her first round match to Maya Joint, so she's officially out of Wimbledon. We'll get to that later. So we have all that on the horizon. We have a lot of other NBA trades that have happened. Also, Tony Farmer at it again. If you know that name, we had him on Press Row as a guest, going after Adam Schefter for some hypocrisy issues going on. So we're gonna get into that. Also, we have body cam footage for Diana Rossini and the alleged I got out of a ticket because I FaceTimed the Bills head coach at the time. We got a lot. We're going to talk about Sophie Cunningham. We got a lot to do. But first, Zain, how are you doing today at this 5 p.m. Eastern time that we are on in this slot?
Well, it's unique because it's something we decided to experiment with. We were talking off the air. I think it was before I went on vacation, or no, it may have even been during when I was on vacation when you said that the numbers were as good as they were, and we're already seeing it now. There's 147 people in here. So after we played around with some different times, we decided on this one, and this is what you'll see moving forward. So you'll get a full carousel of everything, and honestly, I think it couldn't have worked out any better. Because on Mondays last year, we were stressed. Well, I guess we can peel back the curtain now because everything's live. On Mondays, when we used to record this show, we were stressed about the timeliness of all the post-production content that we were going to give you guys. So now all of those things are null and void. And now in this new format, including my own show, which you guys will see later this week on Friday, none of those problems will hopefully happen again. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what we come up with. And it was nice to have a week off. You guys had a good show, but excited to get back into it here and see where the rest of the summer takes us. And yeah, we have a big show planned, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do.
Yeah, so we're going to get right into it. NBA free agency, like I said, and this is still considered breaking news because it happened over the last 4 or 5 hours. This one, which I had to come on and do a breaking stream at about 12:25 p.m. East, 12:25 p.m. Eastern. So about what would you say, about 5 hours ago, I had to come on here and me and David Waitman discussed this whole thing.
Oh, I don't mean to interrupt, but Callan is kind of right when it comes to the craziness of his network. He goes, let's wait till midnight Eastern when Cranium gets on the air, because yes, that is the next show that comes up right after this in about 6 hours. So well played there.
Yeah, but he also said maybe it's time that the NBA and NHL just make June 30th the day where free agency starts. That's true.
That's probably a good idea, considering that in my world, in the combat sports world, there's no UFC usually the week of June 30th. So I think the other leagues should take note. That way they can be the center of attention and the main story on all the major sports websites.
No, it definitely should. But so the news comes out. LeBron, now, they say LeBron was the one who told the team, I'm going to break up with you before you can break up with me. That's typical LeBron James behavior, where he doesn't want the team telling him they don't want him anymore. And excuse me. So the news comes out, the internet crashes, it feels like. And we find out, okay, LeBron no longer wants to be a Laker. And it looks like the speculation is that he's going to be a Golden State Warrior because he wants to play with Steph. He's made that abundantly clear that he wants to play with Steph since the Olympics, going all the way back to 2008 when they were on the team together. So I've reacted to this once already. So what was your first reaction when you saw this? Shocked or not shocked?
I mean, shocked would be the right way to put it, to be honest with you. My brain was scrambled thinking about a lot of other things today until I saw this. So it took me a second to process it. But I think this is, I guess, the evolution of today's superstar athlete, right? LeBron wants to be happier. He knows that retirement is right around the corner. He doesn't want to burn any bridges. It seems that the Lakers have wholly respected him in every facet. I mean, even the statement they put out today was telling of that they really did care about his presence for the last 8 seasons and what he did in the postseason as well. And sometimes it's better for all sides to just move on. And that's what LeBron has realized. And hopefully he can find a fit for him that would make sense, whether it's Golden State, whether it's Cleveland, whether it's another one of these contenders. Although I do think him going to Golden State and playing with arguably the greatest shooter of all time, knowing that Warriors team is aging, I think would make the Warriors must-watch TV. And I think people who hated Golden State when LeBron would beat Golden State would spin the narrative and become fans of his, just because that's the way sports culture these days works. So,
yeah, I mean, am I totally surprised by this? No.
I'm just going to say this. At least he's not one of those athletes that on again, off again is thinking about retirement, but doesn't actually pull the trigger. At least he's honest in saying, yeah, this is who I want to play for at the end of my career. And this is my decision. And I'm not toying with it. And I'm not thinking about anything else other than my immediate future.
So you're saying it's not Brett Favre behavior,
right? Which I think is highly different. And if anybody is going to compare him to Brett Favre, I think it's an unfair comparison. Is my point.
No, I agree. And you know what? LeBron is going to be 42 in December. The man is past his prime by far. Okay, I'm not saying that he can't be the LeBron James of old where he could put up some big numbers, but 42 is past prime. It is. And first of all, Golden State's going to become the geriatric squad the way that they're heading if this is what they're going to do. And because think about what the speculation is going to be. So if they get LeBron, first of all, LeBron can only make, I think, a $15 million mid-level exception if he goes to Golden State, because they just re-signed Kristaps Porzingis to a decent deal. Draymond Green opted out of his player option to give them more space to make more money available for him to be brought in, and then just figuring out the rest. So Steph is 38, LeBron is 41, Draymond is, I think, 37. So it's going to be an old lineup when they put it together. But you are right from the standpoint of it's going to be appointment television. You don't think ESPN, ABC, Amazon, NBC, you don't think they're going to want to put Golden State on every single night if LeBron and Steph are in the same jersey?
Well, I don't even know if they contractually can, because don't all the networks only get a certain number of games a year. So some of them are going to have to be local, but I completely understand what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying that they're going to do, if that happens and LeBron and Steph are on the same team, they're going to do the same thing that the W did to Caitlin Clark and the Fever, where you know that every game this year for the Indiana Fever is nationally televised. So I don't think that's possible, by the way, in the NBA because there's too many games. But would you be surprised if most of the schedule had a ton of Warriors games in it nationally?
No, I think it would have been the case even if the rumblings of LeBron going to Golden State weren't even true. I think based on Curry alone, all those networks would want Golden State or as much Golden State basketball as possible.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be as competitive a squad without.
No, right. I'm just saying, regardless, though, the national networks would have wanted them, I think.
True,
but not to this potential extent that we could be staring down the barrel of, though, is my point.
And you know what? People, you've known me for long enough. I'm not the biggest fan of LeBron James. I've never been the biggest fan of LeBron James. And let me clear this up before people make comments in our comment section. I think he's a talented guy, talented player. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's the all-time point scorer in NBA history. I don't like what he stands for off the court. I can't stand all the drama. I can't stand Rich Paul, his agent, whatsoever, because he's pulling the strings on this. Think about the Anthony Davis piece of this also, because they're trying to drag him out of Washington to also bring him to Golden State. Who's Anthony Davis's agent? Rich Paul.
Right, exactly.
Who else is Rich Paul? LeBron James. And I'm curious your thought on this, which I'll ask you is, do you think it's a conflict of interest that Rich Paul as an agent has a podcast?
Sorry, can you say that in a different way?
Well, I'm saying, do you think it's a conflict that he has a podcast knowing that he's an agent to players in the league?
I mean, I guess, but is he? I mean, if he's doing it, he's got to be legally allowed to. No.
But I'm just saying is there was a clip, and I don't have it on me at the moment, but he basically was saying that the Lakers should be making trades for players on other teams when LeBron was on the Lakers, when he has representation players on the Lakers. He should not be allowed to say, I want these teams to make trades, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's wrong. As an agent, your job is not to tell teams what moves they should be making. As an agent, you represent players, not teams. And right. I just think that's a big problem. And I think Rich Paul has too much power as an agent. But at the same time, I think the relationship just fizzled out between LeBron and the Lakers. And now LeBron is probably heading to Golden State. I don't know. Is there any other teams in your mind that would make sense?
I mean, could a reunion in Cleveland make sense?
I mean,
we've already gone down this path before. It'd be his second reunion there, so I don't know how much of an appeal that really is. I mean, does it put butts in seats? Yeah, but is Golden State a fresh start? Absolutely, it is. It's a brand new team. He's never played for Golden State before. The only Western Conference experience he has is with the Lakers. So I mean, I think whatever he decides to do, it's house money from LeBron's standpoint. He can go wherever he wants, and I think people will follow him.
Well, that's not the debate. The debate is this guy continues to move from franchise to franchise and causes franchises to completely change their game plan for what they're doing. Whether he wants old players all the time and doesn't want to, he's not a rebuild guy, which I get because he's an older player, but every place he goes, he wins, and then he completely depletes the roster, which is a big problem. So the Warriors are basically going to be in it for like a 2 to 3 year run, if that. And Lakem, I guess, Joe Lakem, who we've seen spend money before when they won 3 out of 5 years, 3 titles in 5 years, like they were willing to spend over the luxury tax to win those titles. Now, I don't know if this is the same thing, but Anthony Davis is making close to $60 million a year on his contract. And you have Jimmy Butler on Golden State, who's going to be out until like February with a torn ACL. So they got to make all this money work on a salary cap scenario to make it fit.
Right.
So now we don't know if it's Golden State. We think it's Golden State, but could Cleveland be in the picture? Sure. I actually think Cleveland is in a much better position to win a title than Golden State is right now currently. They have better players. They're younger. And I just think if he went back to Cleveland, when he went back the second time, he won a title.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how rare is it, by the way, that you would get to go back to your home team for a second time during your career? Well, that's a bizarro situation. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where it makes you think like, well, LeBron is going to get what LeBron wants. And I guess if he ends up at Golden State, will they be competitive? Sure. LeBron and Steph will always be competitive. It's just, I think it was a little too late, in my opinion. I mean, they're old. At least for NBA standards, they're old. So I guess we'll kind of see what happened. By the way, I just saw this come across on social media. Oh, God. Uh-oh. Sorry. As I forget to take the repeater off. There is some breaking news that I just came across on social media involving Brandon Sorsby.
Okay.
So a statement was put out by Brandon Sorsby about 10 minutes ago. There's been a lot of news about me out there, and I want to share this statement to make sure things are clear. I accept 100% responsibility for my actions. I did not have control of my gambling problem, and it took getting caught for me to realize that. But it was truly the best thing that could have happened to me. Because of this, I've been able to get the help I need and fully focus on my recovery. The news about the supplemental draft changes nothing about my recovery journey. I will continue to take it one day at a time, focusing on making myself better throughout this process and making sure to share what I've learned and will continue to learn with others going forward. I'm fully committed to being the best version of myself that I can be while getting ready for the 2027 draft. God makes no mistakes, and I look forward to seeing the good that is to come from this.
Interesting. Well, he's going to have to deal with a lot of it himself at this point because the only person that can control this situation is him because he's the one who got himself in that situation. So he can make a million statements, but it's all going to come down to what is he going to do with it.
I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all. He can make any PR statement he wants. I will not believe anything that is put out by Brandon Sorsby whatsoever. This guy has lied multiple times. His lawyer has lied multiple times. What makes you... Do you believe this PR statement?
No, they were probably just trying to protect themselves from even more backlash because that's what it seems like to me.
You do realize if he...
Although it's going to make it worse now because people are going to have opinions and all that stuff. Not like they didn't already because they did, but now they're just going to be more heightened.
You do realize if he took 100% responsibility in the first place, he might still have an opportunity to do stuff in the NFL.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's one of those things that I bet you his lawyer and his PR firm got together and wrote that statement. I guarantee you he didn't even say any of this at all. Brandon Sorsby, in my opinion, is a lost cause. And you know what? He doesn't deserve to play in the NFL. The CFL rejected him. And the UFL is basically saying, come with open arms. We'll take you into the UFL. No problem. I don't know why the UFL would want him when every other league doesn't want him. Do you?
Or are you saying why would the UFL want him?
Yeah.
Well, the UFL is trying to grow a business, and they know that Brandon Sorsby is a name. So if they put him in the UFL, it could entice more people to not only watch the UFL, but either watch him or hate watch him. I actually think it's brilliant business if the UFL is interested in him.
But how can you assure that he's not going to cause a gambling issue again?
You can't, but that's the risk that they're willing to take if they want to pursue his services.
I saw I think it was 2 weeks ago on Lounge that the UFL owner or co-owner or whatever said that this league is the land of opportunity. And that just kind of made me laugh.
Well, he's not wrong, because a lot of undrafted prospects, do go to the UFL to try to get some reps in before they try to sign to an NFL practice squad. So I don't think it's far-fetched to say that. It's not the case for every player, but it's the case for at least some of them.
I think you said it right a couple minutes ago that Brandon Sorsby needs to stop making statements and just go train, go get therapy, mental health.
Well, first off, train, get off social media, get therapy, and keep your 6 to 10 closest people close to you, and that's it.
Yeah, because he's talking too much. He's talking too much. His lawyer is talking too much, and just enough. I don't want to hear it anymore. Brandon Sorsby is gonna dry up all his opportunities at this rate. All right, back to the NBA. More breaking news out of the NBA. So, according to Shams, the Clippers are sending Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-rounders, and a second-rounder. Sorry. This was going to happen at some point. The Clippers and Kawhi just were not a great relationship. He was always load managing, always hurt. And I think one thing came to another. And also, it doesn't help the aspiration investigation that's going on with him as well. So he wanted to go back to Toronto. He won a title in 2019 in Toronto when he was traded. And basically, he said this is the only team he's willing to sign a long-term extension with. So what do you make of Kawhi back to Toronto? Zain?
Oh, well, I mean, him obviously coming home is a big deal, right? Toronto's been in the dumps for a really, really long time. And obviously, Kawhi Leonard is still a vocal part of the fabric of what makes this whole ecosystem of NBA stars so exciting. A healthy Kawhi Leonard, I think, is only an asset to the Raptors and not a burden. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, but can he be healthy is the thing. He's always hurt. There's always load management. There's always a problem with him. And by the way, I find it hilarious that Adam Silver at the All-Star break of this past season said, we're going to have an answer for the aspiration investigation. We still don't have one, which I don't understand how hard this is. You did an investigation. Was Steve Ballmer, the Clippers owner, accused of basically putting money under the table to circumvent the salary cap? And we still don't have an answer. But if he goes back to Toronto, they have some good players. Scotty Barnes is a really good young star for the Raptors. I can see that being a really good team. They might be favorites at the top of the East if Kawhi goes back to Toronto.
They would be one of them. I still wouldn't count out Boston or the Knicks, though.
But with all the drama going on in Boston right now with Jaylen Brown,
it's still a huge question mark.
So now I'm not saying Toronto is perfect because Toronto has some bumps and bruises they got to figure out. But they took Cleveland to 7 games for crying out loud in the playoffs. I mean, so they have a core. If they brought Kawhi back, I think they might have a chance to win a few playoff rounds if they can figure that out.
At least 2, I would say.
Like you said, Boston is still up there. Detroit is still up there, even though I would question Detroit now because Jalen Duran now wants out and for some reason wants to go to Sacramento. But I definitely think Kawhi is going to get his way, whether he likes it or not, because he's basically said, I'm not willing to sign long-term anywhere else. And if he goes to Toronto, I guess that puts Toronto back up in the favorite column for sure. So some other, now this move, Ja Morant finally traded from Memphis to Portland. Ja Morant has been a head case for the last couple of seasons. He can't stay out of trouble. He had the guns incident, which we've talked about many times. He had the strip club incidents. He's had conduct detrimental incidents with the Memphis Grizzlies. Were you surprised that he got traded? That someone wanted him?
Well, yes, for sure, just because it was so unexpected, number one. But number two, it seems like he's become more of a distraction in Memphis than anything else. So I don't know how Portland is going to handle this, but they're certainly taking a massive risks. If you want to throw the word risks out even more, I think that's certainly one of them because, to be honest with you, as a casual NBA observer, I really did not quite understand the value of the trade, considering who Memphis is getting in return for this, because I just don't think it makes sense from their side, and from the Portland side, it's very, very murky, I think.
I mean, Ja Morant's value is basically zero because of all the incidents he caused off the court. Ja Morant should not be in the league anymore, the way he's been acting. And he had a 25-game suspension to start the season due to all the trouble. Now, you have to remember, I think he's like 23 or 24 years old. Like, he's a young star who hit the lottery with a large contract. And I think the pressure got to him and it caused him to do bad things off the court. So I don't know, man. This is one of those things where you're like, okay, he's happy. I read quotes that he's happy that he got a fresh start in Portland. So it's going to be him and Damian Lillard and Scoot Henderson. It's going to be a decent team to watch. They might make a playoff run, a first round. But do you think Ja Morant could behave himself? Is the big question.
I would say it's an unsure category at the moment. What do you think?
I don't trust him to behave himself. He totally embarrassed the Memphis Grizzlies organization, but with all the gun stuff and all the strip club stuff and not behaving and talking back to the commissioner and all this stuff. I mean, everyone says like a change of scenery is always a good thing in professional sports. Maybe it will be. I have no idea. But if he does stuff again, let's just say I wouldn't be surprised if Ja Morant got suspended again or acted out again, because this is how this guy acts. He can't control his own ego. And I want to look this up because I don't remember. Let's see how old he is. He's 26 years old right now. So he's a kid, young kid. And I mean, if he could be what he was coming up into the league, Portland got a steal trade-wise. And they could make a run with Dame, who will be healthy next season. They can make a serious run, like I said, with those two and Scoot Henderson. And maybe Portland has something to root for the first time in what seems like a decade.
Yeah, but it'll probably take them a few years to make the playoffs, no?
If Dame is healthy and Ja Morant is 50% of what he was, they will make the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying they'll win the first round or anything, But
I meant from a play-in standpoint. Do you think they can make the play-in? I should have clarified.
yeah, they'll absolutely make the play-in with Dame and John Morant. But will they go anywhere further? That's kind of up in the air at this point because I have no
Okay.
idea what they're going to be. So, I mean, is it good that he got to change his scenery? Yes, he needed it. Him and Memphis were clashing like titans. Like the one side, both sides couldn't agree on what the right way of going about stuff was. So they just needed a change of scenery, and it was time because they just could not figure things out. All right, before we transition into football, sports moves fast, and we're here to keep you ahead of the chains. Join Nick DiMartino and Johnny Montalbano for Moving the Goalpost every Thursday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We cover the full spectrum of the Big Four, from the gridiron and the diamond to the court and the ice. Whether we're analyzing the NBA playoff bracket, discussing a major coaching shakeup in the NHL, or recapping a legendary finish on the golf course, we bring you unique perspectives and a touch of humor. Don't watch the games, understand the moves that change them. Only on the Empty the Bench Network. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. Johnny can't make the show this week. I will be doing the show with Nick DiMartino on Thursday. So I'll be pulling triple duty with shows this week. All right. Moving on. Now it's time to talk some football. And this story is going from bad to worse in every way, shape, or form. So Tony Farmer, who we had on press row, and actually we're probably going to have him. We're going to do a taped interview, I think, again with him this week. Is calling out a lot of people, and I'm trying to find the story because I had the story on it. But did you see the story about Adam Schefter and the investment with him and Robert Kraft?
Yeah, we talked about this off air that we both think it's very confusing.
And how can he be a stable reporter covering the NFL when he's invested in a gambling business with Robert Kraft? Could you explain that one to me? Because that makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make sense, but I think in the wild, wild west of just sports journalism and commentary and communication, all the lines are blurred. And it's good to see that guys like Tony Farmer, who really have no involvement in this at all, outside of just sharing their opinions on Twitter, because I think and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like he's independent with all the work he does, at least from my understanding. I don't know if that's correct, but it seems like he's very open with his stances on this, and he feels like something's up with it. And he's not entirely wrong, because there is some fishiness going on and some lines you just don't cross. And as someone who's in the profession himself, I've seen firsthand who the real reporters are and who the people are that really care about what they do, and the people who are just kind of there to be there. So someone has to call it out, and at least he's the one calling it out.
And what's interesting, excuse me, is if you noticed, you don't see Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport covering anything on this story whatsoever. And that's a little suspicious, because if you're an senior NFL insider, your job is to cover the whole league, right? And they haven't said anything since, and I looked this up, and Tony Farmer did a good job on it, has not said anything since Sedona, the whole Sedona hotel situation. They have not said a damn thing. And I'll read you some of the information that was in the Yahoo Sports story that apparently recently Tony Farmer pointed out that Schefter and Robert Kraft are business partners, which could be why the NFL Insider hasn't covered the controversial story. And questions were raised in 2021 about how Schefter could remain unbiased while reporting on the Patriots, and now the Patriots head coach is involved in a scandal. So Adam Schefter, I think, needs to be fired by ESPN.
I don't think that'll happen. It's too much of a financial risk for ESPN to do that.
But
all they're going to think about is the bottom line. They're not going to think about the mortals of this, I don't think.
but you would say this all the time. Isn't this crossing journalistic integrity lines?
For Schefter to only report certain things, or
Yeah.
what are you getting at?
I'm saying that he's not willing to report on the Patriots, but he'll report on everybody else.
Well, it's one of two things. He's trying to protect himself, or someone who he won't reveal is telling him whether or not he can or can't report something. I'm not defending him in that way, but there are some extremely blurred lines that I'm sure are very difficult for him to constitute. But him being in the business for 30 plus years, he should know better than that, though.
I think Callan says it right. Wins and losses over journalistic integrity color me shocked. Which what he's referring to is, we've been talking about this across a ton of network shows here, that more people care about whether Mike Vrabel gets wins and losses rather than if he's breaking any integrity rules when it comes to this situation. And there needs to be some consequences. I could give two craps about the bottom line of ESPN. This is so crossing a line. And by the way, do you know the business he's investing in with Robert Kraft is a gambling business? So how is that not crossing the lines from an integrity standpoint, Zan?
It's close. I don't know if it's fully there, because again, we don't know that we only know what's being reported, right? We don't know the full context of everything that's going on, but it clearly is painting him in a bad light.
It was reported back in Bloomberg in 2021.
Yeah, but obviously, of course, because sometimes these things happen. I'm not saying it's right. People want to sweep things under the rug because of who the person is, and that's ultimately what ended up happening, because Schefter was able to still report and still keep his job.
Yeah, but here's the problem. So you're an insider. You control the news cycle, and you're invested in a gambling company, though.
Yeah, again, it's the blurred lines of journalism that make people uncomfortable, and especially when you factor in gambling, it's never a good look, because at that point, if you want to go into gambling, you might as well just be a content creator, because clearly that's a totally different profession than what this is. So I don't know.
That's the point I'm trying to get at. Like, he can't be an investor in a gambling company and be an insider for the NFL. He can literally, on a dime, change, no pun intended, change the odds of a team on something he reports. That's the point I'm trying to get at. Like, I just don't. And it's also a little favoritism, if you think about it, that he's not willing to report this all this news on the Patriots. And everybody else is. I mean, I noticed that Rapp is not doing it either, Ian Rappaport. So it makes me wonder what connections they have with Robert Kraft and the Patriots. But Bloomberg noted back in 2021, at the time, that the business relationship between a team owner and an NFL insider covering that owner's team warranted scrutiny, and ESPN declined to comment on whether the arrangement violated any internal conflicts of interest policy. What?
Well, of course, ESPN's going to decline to comment because they're scared. They're scared of the narrative that the reputation of the network is going to take. They're scared of everything involved. That's what the truth of the matter is, because if they weren't scared and they were willing to investigate, this would already be moving forward as such.
I don't think Adam Schefter would have a job anymore if they investigated.
I don't think so either.
It also goes to show that.
But I think he's so famous in his own right that if he were to leave ESPN, there would still be Adam Schefter defenders that would still support his work even after he would supposedly leave ESPN.
Oh, no. First of all, Adam Schefter could go off by himself and do his own content. He's got a big enough following that if he wanted to do, he does the Adam Schefter podcast here on ESPN. If he wanted to do his own podcast, he could go off on his own and he'd be fine. That's not the issue. It's the blurred lines that gambling brings in, that he's not reporting because he has a business relationship with Robert Kraft. He basically skipped out on the biggest story of the NFL offseason. I mean, I just it bothers me from a standpoint of, and I exclude you when I say this, but journalism, sports journalism, let me be very specific here. Sports journalism has become very conflict of interest in the industry.
It is, yeah.
And people are making arrangements so that they can get things a certain way, and then it allows them to do whatever they want. But then when they get caught, they don't ever own up to the mistakes that they make either. There's too many handshake deals, I'll call it, where, oh, if I give you this information, you won't say anything if something bad happens to me. I feel like we see that way too much now in the sports media landscape. So, I don't know. I mean, do you think in the long run this is ever going to affect Adam Schefter?
Probably not.
And
If I
so-
were to guess, I don't know because we don't know all the facts. But if I were to guess, the answer is no.
And of course, so that all the powerful insiders in sports get away with everything, and they continue to do things that they shouldn't be doing. So, gee, what a shocker. All right, let's move on to a second piece of this story. Obviously, former NFL insider Diana Rossini, who we've been talking about her and this story for months, but a body cam footage has now officially surfaced, and we're going to take a look at it too. I have the body cam of the cop walking up to her car. I'm going to bring that up here so we can share this with the audience here. And basically, I want you to notice, and I'm going to skip around a little bit because they kind of take their time on this. But before I show this to you, have you seen any of this footage at all?
Yeah, but I've also seen tweets that say, "Oh, this isn't the real body cam footage." So how can we verify that this is in fact it? Because some people have been saying that it is, and others have been saying that it is not.
It has the coded information in the top right corner.
Okay.
And it's
that
literally
makes more sense.
And it's literally inside the car.
Okay.
So we're gonna observe this, and we're gonna pause in between, and we'll talk about it. But here, if I can remove the outro, there we go. I'll take this down. So this is the body cam footage. There's 7 minutes of it. We're gonna kind of work our way into it, but I want you to observe. And for the first time on Press Roseanne, I said this when you were away. She's guilty. I said it for the first time for everything that she's done. But this body cam footage is going to prove even more that she tried to get out of this ticket. So take a look at this, and everybody take a look at this.
Yeah. Officer Bernal, Ridge Police, you've been recording my body camera. Can I just get your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance, please? Yeah.
So you're not gonna care. I'm an NFL reporter, and I just broke that Sean McDermott got fired from the Bills, and that is what I was just sending to send a tweet. I was gonna pull over because I have to make calls.
Okay.
I know you don't care, but I'm just letting you know my reason why.
Okay.
It was a work thing, and it was an emergency for what I did. I have a more updated license, but just take that so you know I'm not like some crazy person.
Okay, wait, pause it there.
Yeah.
Why is she admitting that she needs a more updated license? Come on, man. I don't even drive, and I even know that when you get in the car with someone, their license has to be
valid
updated to a certain extent.
Oh yeah, you have to have a valid driver's license when you're in the car, or you have to have someone who can drive.
Right, exactly.
But for her, right off the top, to say, "Oh, I was trying to get a tweet out while I was driving on the road because I'm an NFL insider." You do realize that was greasing the wheels right there, right off the beginning. That, oh, I'm an insider, so I'm allowed to be on my phone while I'm driving. No, you're not. No, you're not. Continue.
Thank you.
And I've never gotten it.
Okay. So, obviously, you were on your phone for a while, right? I was on when you went under the underpass, right? on Garber Square. I was by Library Place. So you're on your phone there. I got behind you, right by Whole Foods. You continue to be on your phone, right? I understand you have a job.
Of all times. It's like no one expected you, football head.
Yeah.
Like, I'm shocked that they fired me. I cannot believe it. You know who was on the phone with?
Who?
Brian Gable. He's the boss of the job.
Oh, okay.
Okay, stop for a second. Does she think that revealing to the cop that, oh, I know these coaches and all this stuff is going to get her out of the ticket?
You can't reveal work stuff like that. If
No
it was
shit.
me and I was trying to break a college football story or a UFC story, I'm not telling anybody anything until the thing is published. I can't do that.
This makes me laugh because you can tell she's clearly trying to get out of the ticket, literally, and this makes her an even worse human being than I've predicted. Let's continue.
Are you a fan of Giants or Jets?
I'm not a fan of either. So
What is
Pause
your
me
team?
again.
I'm a Vikings fan, unfortunately. Let's say it.
I was just going to add one more thing and say the cop doesn't need to say his team's allegiance.
Yeah, I think he was kidding. I think because they said he was kind of joking, making a comment.
Yeah, but still, though, you can't egg on the conversation when you're in the middle of a traffic stop, and you just I don't know. I just feel like it's a little bit suspicious. You can't do that.
Well, yeah, it's suspicious. I mean, I don't know, man.
Can you see the name?
Oh my God, KOC.
See what I said? Look what I said to him though just now.
Okay, I have a problem here, and I think you know what I'm.
You're gonna show
wait a
the
minute.
text messages now.
I was going to say you knew exactly what I was going to say as soon as I paused that.
Come on, man.
You can't reveal your sources, man. What are you doing?
No, you can't do that.
The hell is that? Oh my God.
Oh my God. Wow, pretty cool.
I love the Vikings. Chaos is awesome.
Yeah, he seems like a good
Your
dude.
quarterback sucks though.
Yeah, so he's got to get it. He's got to fix it. He's got to turn it around, or someone else is going to get him. What is? Do you have your registration as well? That's what I was going to ask next. Is like, have you ever gotten points, anything like that? No. All right. You heading home now? Okay. What channel?
Well, I work for The Athletic, which is like the New York.
Okay, stop. Why is that important to the conversation?
It's not. She just wants to prop herself up. That's all it is.
So, and I think she goes on to say, like,
If it was me or if it was anybody else, I would guarantee you 99% of people not named her would not be revealing that.
No, and the cop wouldn't give a shit either. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing something for Fox this morning.
Okay, cool.
Nice media.
All right, just give me a minute, okay? Do you have an updated driver's license?
First of all, how do you hand a cop an expired license, but you have the updated license in your bag? Really?
No, that's bizarre.
Oh.
I drove in 5.5 hours.
Perfect. Here, you can take this one back. All right, I'll be right back with you, all right?
Yeah.
All right, we can skip ahead. This is the cop going in the car. Here we go. Watch this interaction, though.
Who's the registered owner of the vehicle?
It's either me or my husband, Kevin Goldschmidt.
Okay. Oh, you live in Whitecroft with him? Okay, so just a heads up too, like you do have to update your driver's license, right? The address, because it says you're from Norwood.
Yeah, I used to live there, but I don't live there.
Okay.
We bought the house like 2 years ago, so I know I got it.
Yeah, so update
I
that.
need a real ID too, right?
So
No, like the new.
because it says not for real ID purposes, yeah. It's a pain, but you do have to get that.
I swear it's not an excuse. I literally can't get an appointment. Why is it so backed up?
I'm not sure, honestly. And everyone hates going to the DMV, but it's one of those things like you have to do. Listen, I'm gonna cut you a break on the cell phone. I understand.
Are you kidding me? The cop cut her a break.
It's wild.
And by the way, she lied. because she said that she pulled out her phone, she FaceTimed Sean McDermott, and let the cop talk to the coach. Do you see that in this interaction at all?
No.
Your job requires you to be on the phone a lot.
I know. It's so bad, I shouldn't do
Just try to wait till you get home, okay? And yeah, keep me updated with the Vikings, okay? Let me know if KOC is going to get a new quarterback in. Of course. All right, man. Take care.
Are you
By
kidding me?
the way, not to make this about me, but this is a story I've never told. I can tell it now because nothing ever happened. But when I was down in Illinois as a student, I got a warning for jaywalking, and as they were waiting, meaning jaywalking while in my wheelchair. It's a crazy story that I'll tell you about sometime.
Wait a minute. You can jaywalk in a wheelchair?
I guess you can. I don't know. I don't know.
You taught me something today.
I don't know. I don't know how that works, but anyway, as the police were getting my information and stuff, they were asking me some questions, and they're like, "Hey, I think we've seen you before. Are you someone that covers Illinois? What do you think? What do you think of the quarterback?"
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was so funny. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's a weird question to ask somebody when you're pulling them over for something.
Yeah.
So how's the team doing? By the way, do you cover them? I'd like to know some insider information.
I don't know. It was funny. This was like 8 years ago, so it's long over, but it just made me think that cops can be weird sometimes.
But I have no sympathy for Diana Rossini anymore whatsoever. I said this on Press Row on last Wednesday, and people are giving a shit on TikTok because, well, she didn't commit a crime, so you can't say she's guilty of something. Yeah, I can. I can say she's guilty of being unethical. That's what I can say she's guilty of. Wouldn't you say she's broken a ton of rules as a journalist?
Oh yeah.
Like, and I get that social media, there's some pretty dumb people on it from time to time, and irrational people. But if you don't want to understand how media and journalistic integrity works, then that's on you as a person if you don't want to understand it. And Diana Rossini is going to have to go off on her own if she wants to do content, because no network is going to hire her to be an NFL insider. Wouldn't they be afraid if that this could happen all over again?
Unless it's like a rebel organization that's very out there, meaning a rebel organization is and they're not very politically correct. So I could see Barstool or Outkick being interested, but those are the only two I could think of.
Well, from what I understood, Barstool is not interested, from what I heard.
Okay.
Which is kind of a shame because she actually would fit in there personality-wise. And she's always on PMT all the time, or was, as a guest. Outkick is a little political more than a little crazy.
Yeah.
You and I are in agreement. I'm not a big Clay Travis fan, by the way. Either.
No, I'm not either. I'm not really even a Dan Dockage fan either. Although,
God, I hate him.
To be fair though, what he did say about Diana Rossini way back months ago, based on this video, is now sort of becoming true.
Like all the sketchiness that.
Yeah. Everything he said so far to this point has actually been correct, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't have. He did go a little overboard, in my opinion, though.
He did, but most of the things he said, would you agree, though, were pretty rational, I would say?
Yes, but he could have said it in a different way, is what I'm saying.
And by the way, shout out to the 200 people who are in here watching. We only have a couple of topics left to get through. I know you guys went a little longer last week, so we want to be cognizant of that. But shout out to the 200 people who are in here. You guys are fantastic.
Yeah, we had, by the way, Tom and I last week, 570 people in here. So, you know what? Zain and I were talking about this because we started talking about this at the beginning. 5 p.m. is better for the West Coast audience to come in and watch the show. So that's why we went from 11 a.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know why we didn't do this sooner. Now that
I agree.
I'm thinking about it.
Most of our shows, what's the earliest show now? It's going to be yours, technically. on Thursday.
Oh, would that be correct? With
Yeah,
it
3
being-
p.m. Eastern,
Yeah, you're right.
which is still fine because noon Eastern, noon Pacific is still
Right, and that's the original time slot that the Friday version would come
Yeah.
out at anyway. So
yeah. So we're doing way better now with things 3 p.m. Eastern and later with shows, at least audience wise. But all right, I digress. Long story short, Diana Rashidi not going to work for a network anymore.
no, I don't think so.
But she has the same situation as Adam Schefter. She could go out on her own. She's got a big enough follow, even though she closed out her Twitter account, which I thought was bizarre and wild, considering she has a huge following on it.
That seems to me like a sign of guilt.
A
I don't know
little.
about you, but
You knew what my
it's
biggest
typically like when people go away on Twitter, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I need to handle some things and stuff like that, so I'll be dark on social media. For those of you who need to reach me. She didn't do any of that. She just deleted it.
I'm surprised she hasn't come out somewhere and done an interview yet, or made a new podcast.
I'm sure she's had numerous requests. I'm almost positive about that.
I'm wondering if
the
Good
biggest
Morning America,
off-season story in the NFL.
but Good Morning America would have been the perfect spot, like to break any news on that. But
Well, I don't know, Nick, if necessarily would have been breaking news. It would have just been more getting her side of the story.
Well,
Whatever.
you're
that
right.
is.
You're right. It's not breaking news, but like more what actually happened. If there's
A
more
first
to it.
person account. Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be more to that story. All right. Speaking of controversy, Sophie Cunningham versus the WNBA. Obviously, this has to do with Caitlin Clark. And we saw the egregious flagrant 2. It was Alyssa Thomas of the Mercury, right?
Right.
Who basically put a fist into her neck when she was laying on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And Sophie Cunningham had a lot to say about this matter. And I'm trying to see if I have the audio for that. I thought I had the video for that, but I can't find it at the moment. But she said, like, she went against Kathy. She went against all the other WNBA players, saying that that Caitlin is mistreated. I don't know. What do you make of the treatment and all the stuff we hear about Caitlin Clark and everything that's been going on?
It just sucks because it's all a double standard anyway. I mean, if you think about it, the WNBA should be thriving right now, and instead it's all marred in controversy, and I think it sucks. I really do.
I just don't know what to say anymore because, like, the refs don't call the fouls ever. And then now people are bitching and moaning, saying that Caitlin Clark is getting kid glove treatment. And it's becoming one of those things now where I don't know what you do because everyone's complaining Caitlin Clark because she's the big name. Like, she's getting everything she wants. I don't know, man. It's just, oh, I found the audio if we want to hear it.
Okay.
And let me see if I have it here. I think this is it. All right. Let's grab this out and grab this clip.
There it is.
Well, so during real time last night, I did not see that happen. I
Right.
don't, none of our team saw it happen because I promise you if we would have seen that happen, we would have had her back. Unfortunately, this type of shit happens every single game to her, and the league and the refs do absolutely nothing about it.
It's been a minute.
He is right about that. That some
I have
very petty on-court stuff does happen towards Clark all the time.
Oh, the constant like smacking around.
She's 100% right.
Oh, yeah, she's totally right. Like, and the refs don't call it either, which is even worse. I don't think they called a foul in the moment when that happened, right?
Not from what I can recall, no. And I'm just going to say this too. I think it's a slap in the face that she wasn't on the 30-year poster. I think it's so stupid.
You did hear that there was specific reasons why she was not on the poster, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't think it makes those reasons right, though. That's what I'm saying. You're going to include all of these other players, but you're not going to include the trendsetter, the one player that got a lot more people into women's sports. That's a whole rant for another time, but it just frustrated me, was my overall point.
Right, but do you? I know the actual reason. Do you know the actual reason why she was not on the poster?
I do, but if you want to fill in the viewers that maybe don't, it would help with context.
Okay. Yeah, so the reason she was not was because other than Nike, Clark allows licensees like Windcraft, which makes this only to use her name and number and stuff. So the WNBA didn't have the licensee right, apparently, to put her on the poster. Which isn't it true if you're part of the W that they should be allowed to license you on any merch and content that they do?
You should be able to, yeah.
Something's not adding up there. And I'm just trying to find the direct reason just so I can give everybody the proper reasoning. But it was not a snub. It was Caitlin Clark herself. Other than Nike, Clark allows licensee like Windcraft, which makes this to only use her number. In simple terms, Windcraft, the company that made this poster in collaboration with the WNBA, didn't have Clark's image rights. So that's why she wasn't on the poster.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense. It just still sucks from an inclusion standpoint, though, because that's something that they're very proud of from a whole league standpoint. So, of course, they're going to get flack for it, is my overall point.
So it says, the Yahoo story also says, in simple terms, Windcraft, the company that made this poster in collaboration with the WNBA, didn't have Clark's image rights. Now, that's a massive revelation, if true. If Windcraft had used Clark's image without getting explicit permission from her, the Fever Stars team would have been quick to sue them. So,
Right.
Believe it or not, this actually had nothing to do with the W at all.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of like literally kneeing and cheap shotting C in the throat. Like if she did that to any of our teammates, we'd be pissed. But like they're definitely targeting her, and the league and the refs do nothing to protect her.
I mean, let's get into this now. The
I don't know. Do you agree with her that they don't protect her at all?
From the games I've watched, they don't.
They don't protect her, and
They don't.
they need her because she's the cash cow, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say this. As someone who's intending to go to the All-Star game at the end of the month, the reason why people are going to be there is because of her. So, assuming she's healthy, of course. That's a major question mark. But yeah. You would think that she probably would play in it, though, right?
say that again.
You would think that she would play in it, though, right?
If she's healthy.
Yeah.
So here's the poster, by the way, in case people were wondering. And people made a huge stink that she wasn't in it, which I get. But I don't see Angel Reese in here. Do you? Oh, she's at the bottom. I see her there.
They dropped last night like the 30-year commemorative thing, which that you're on it. That's cool.
Why would you ever put me on it?
But people are up in arms.
She's
that
not wrong, though. Like, to be fair, a lot of the casual WNBA fans would not know who she is if she didn't play with Clark.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm just being honest. I mean, the real Sophie Cunningham fans are the ones that have known her since she was in college, and I bet 90% of people could not even say without Googling where she went to school. So
that's fair. It's fair.
Not on it. And then also watching her get kind of her ass kicked last night. I do see everyone being like, why does the league not protect this person? It like, I don't want to get in beef with Kathy either, but it's like, it is like she's jealous of her, or like,
okay, hold on. Which that could be true. I don't know. What, do you think Kathy Engelbert has a problem with Caitlin Clark, or there's some jealousy there, or no?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If that's the case, why don't they squash it and get past it rather than having all these problems?
Because that's the state of not just the WNBA, but women's sports right now. It's incompleteness, if you want to call it that. Everything feels very much eggshell like. So you see conversations like this because there's no accountability.
It's just dumb, though. Like, the WNBA can't get out of its own way. The commissioner and the commissioner's office can't get out of their own way. We don't really need this anymore. But basically, the W has a problem. Caitlin Clark is getting aggressively fouled and injured by other WNBA players. And by the way, it made me laugh. I don't know if you saw a video that resurfaced from Alyssa Thomas from a couple years ago.
I think
Also,
I did, yeah.
where she claimed like that the league and the refs were racist. And I was like, all right, can we not make accusations, please? That's a large accusation to make.
Yeah, and there's nothing I can comment on because I don't know that to be true. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a large accusation to make unless you have video proof of it, I guess, or audio proof of it. But I don't blame Sophie for defending Caitlin because she's getting chopped up out there like a football player at times.
Yeah.
How do you protect? And people say, "Oh, well, we should put kid gloves on Caitlin Clark."
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. That's just now dumbing down the situation, if anything.
And I'm like, you don't have to put kid gloves on Caitlin Clark. How about just officiate everybody the same way?
Yeah, exactly.
That's like LeBron James syndrome in the NBA, where he wouldn't get fouls called, and like because he was a strong guy, he could always make the N1. So the refs were not calling N1s because he'd make the shot. Which, by the way, you're not supposed to officiate that way. But I don't know. And Alyssa Thomas complaining, and Nate Tibbetts looked like a complete asshole in his press conference, by the way, basically saying that the investigation was bogus and all this stuff. Like, they called it a flagrant 2, I think, after the game. They called it a flagrant 2, and which it was. You can't put a fist in somebody's neck. You just can't. It's not right. I don't know. It's just one of those things where it just makes me scratch my head. All right, quick few topics here. I want to get your thoughts on this. So, former Alabama head coach Nick Saban submitted a character reference letter to a Tampa court in support of Terrion Arnold. That's the cornerback for the Lions, who was arrested for robbery and theft and all this stuff. And I think he got out on $1 million bond yesterday.
Jeez.
I mean, is this shocking? I know I think he was an Alabama player. That's what, or an LSU player. I forgot which one.
No, he played for Coach Saban. I think it was at Alabama also. Let me just double check.
But just because you played, he's one of your guys. Why are you writing a character reference letter for a guy who's a bad guy?
He doesn't do that for everybody, though. I don't think.
Yeah, but he's a bad guy. Like, I'm gonna look this up. What his charges were, because they were.
He played for Alabama, by the way.
Okay, so Terrion Arnold currently facing 8 felony charges related to a February 2026 armed robbery and kidnapping plot in Tampa, Florida, and is also accused of orchestrating an attack on 3 men in retaliation for a theft at his rental home. Why are you writing a character reference for this guy?
Because he's Nick Saban and he probably thinks, okay, I have a lot of power. I coached this kid. The court should see this other side. They probably won't do much with it because, as far as we know, the evidence is already out, right? That he kind of did this. Obviously, it's innocent until proven guilty, but it seems like based on the video footage, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like he was the one who orchestrated this. No,
that's what he's charged with. So here's the full list of charges: 3 counts of armed robbery, 3 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of conspiracy to commit kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit armed robbery. So that's not good. He could do some serious jail time on some of this stuff. He did get he got released by the Lions, which was going to happen eventually. The prosecutors alleged that while Arnold was not physically present during the violent assault, he was the general manager of the plot, reportedly coordinating the abduction of 3 men. His group wrongly suspected of stealing $250,000 in property from him. Detectives testified that Arnold used an 18-year-old acquaintance to lure the victims to an apartment under the guise of a booty call.
It's not good, especially when you factor in how old the woman was. That's just very suspicious.
I mean, he's not going to play in the NFL again. But then I say that, and somehow he'll get a slap on the wrist like normal, like every NFL player does, because the NFL promotes illegal activity, and they're the home of domestic violence. And he'll somehow end up on an NFL roster, and he'll end up playing again, right? I mean, do you think he's going to play again?
Probably not.
I would like to say he's not, but I don't trust the NFL anymore to this day. It's just scary times, man. Like what some of these NFL players do. And yeah. And I don't know, man. It's just one of those things that I was just like, wow. Like $1 million bond, though, that's no small feat
No,
either.
it's not.
Last thing, because we had a couple more, but we'll get to one more.
Yeah, we probably have what, like 5 minutes left, you would say?
Roughly, yeah. And by the way, in case you're keeping track time-wise, NBA free agency officially started about 10 minutes ago, 6 p.m. Eastern. So now you're going to see all of the signings become official that were discussed. They were only allowed to discuss money up until this point. Oh, I forgot to read. I'll do it at the end. There's a tweet from Dave McMenamin I want to read. But the last story we're going to do, Serena Williams, who just finished her match, I want to say
An hour and a half ago.
Yeah. And unfortunately, she lost to Maya Joint in 3 sets. I don't know how much of the match you saw.
I saw the back half of it. Yeah.
I mean, she's in her 40s. She looked like she was in good shape. She was able to run around. I hope it's not a one and done. I don't think you would put all that effort in to play just Wimbledon. I would hope. But what did you make? Did you think that she held her own out there?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a very competitive match. The one set was 66 minutes. I think it was was it the last one, or I think it was the second to last one before the decider. I thought it was a very competitive match. I thought Serena really didn't lose a step. She could have won it. But obviously, sometimes, as they say, Father Time catches us all. And I think this was her moment to where, it wasn't the cap end to her career that she was hoping it would be, but she gave it her best shot, I think.
Yeah. I mean, was I expecting her to win this match? No. Did I think she had a shot? Sure. Absolutely. I thought she did. But it's different competition. It's a different game when she left it in, I think, 2022. She retired 4 years ago. And for her to still hit serves at 120 miles an hour kind of impressed me, by the way, because that's not easy to do. I forgot how old she is. She's like 44.
Yeah, around there.
I'm looking this up because now I want to know. She's 44 years old. She didn't have to come back and play tennis, but according to her, she was bored sitting at home, so that's why she came back to play tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a funny reason to come back to be an athlete after retiring. But I don't know. I hope she competes at the U.S. Open. Can you imagine her being at the U.S. Open in New York? That would be incredible, crowd wise.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have to come back. I think she has 23 majors. I want to say.
Right.
Can look this up really fast. Let's see. She has 23. The whole thing was that if she won another, I think she would have had the whole time record. I think at 24, or she had to get one or two more, 25. I think to pass Navratilova and Billie Jean King. Yeah, I don't think she's going to get that. I just don't think because the tour is much more competitive now than it ever has been.
Right.
So
I have one final question for you on this before we wrap up. Do we think that this is the height of Maya Join's career, or do we think she's only going to use this as motivation to try to win the whole thing?
It's tough to say now because she's a young player. I saw that message he put in. That was the one other thing I'm gonna refer to. But I hope she uses it as a motivator to get somewhere. I hope. And she might not win the tournament because I think she had to qualify for the tournament. Serena got a wild card into the tournament because of her name. But if she wins one or two more matches, I think it would be because she beats Serena Williams. I think she could build off that momentum. She's not going to win the tournament. I'll say that now. But good win, and hopefully she can use it to win a few more matches. Before we wrap up, I saw that message Callan put in. So this news actually did just break a little while ago. LeBron James has reportedly instructed his agent, Rich Paul, to reach out to teams to gauge interest and then come back with his potential options before deciding where to play next. Now, I don't buy that, by the way, at all. I think he has his mind made up for the most part, whether it's going to be Golden State, Cleveland, or maybe Miami, even though Miami has a depleted roster. I find it hilarious that he's saying he wants to get every team's interest. I'll tell you right now, he's not going to the Wizards. He's not going to the Kings. He's not going to the Nets. All these teams that are at the bottom of the totem pole. So I think this is a little Hollywood acting going on here by LeBron and Rich Paul a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Oh, Callan also says round of 32 update at the World Cup. France leads Sweden 2-0 in the second half.
Okay, well, I think that's a good place to end things. And by the way, based on what you just said about LeBron James and Rich Paul, this is all just, to me, a play to get more and more people talking about this as the biggest story in sports right now, which is actually a great place to end things because I think we covered pretty much everything this week, and I'm sure we're gonna touch on more of these next week and some news stories as well. So this was a good show overall, and thank you to the 206 people that tuned in.
Yeah. Make sure you follow us as you see across the screen. Follow our show at ETB Sports, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at ETB Sports. Follow the Empty the Bench Network at ETB Network, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. Help us get over the 1,130 subscriber march as we are there. Also, as Callan says, more to come this evening with Callan's Cranium tonight, midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific time. So don't miss that as well. We are heading into, it's scary to think that we're heading into the NFL content scheduling sessions over the next week or so because we're getting ready for the NFL season. So just the news cycle's moving fast. That's what I'm going to say. But until then, thank you to everybody that tuned in and watched. Bando's Breakdowns will be live Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Then going forward in the coming weeks, it'll be Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern after this week. So mark your calendars. Friday this week, 3 p.m. Eastern. Then going forward, Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. You want to say, well, I can't really say that. You're teasing something. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'm teasing something. It probably won't be until the middle of July, but another big, massive interview to come as I like to do every couple of months. So
this let's put it this way. In the UFC and the MMA or boxing space, this is a person I actually like.
I was going to say the UFC in this case would be a sinful term to use, but yes, ex-UFC champion. Let's say that.
Because let's just say she likes to mouth off in a lot of ways, which I enjoy. Does. I enjoy when she mouths off because I think she wins every argument she is a part of.
She wins most of them. I'll say that she wins most of them.
Yeah. So if that happens, I'd actually look forward to that. But yeah, that'll do it for the show. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back every Tuesday now, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. So mark that on the calendars if you are keeping track of our show. And until then, have a good week, everybody. Stay on the track for NBA free agency. If we hear any news on LeBron, it'll come out somewhere in a stream like I did with David this morning. So, till then, have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Have a good